All right, let's get into it. Today, we're decoding the final high-stakes box office weekend of 2025. What do these numbers really mean? Well, they tell a fascinating story about what we all decided to watch over the holidays.
This is so much more than just a list of movies and the money they made. It's really a snapshot of our collective mood, right? It shows us what audiences were craving, what stories pulled us in during that holiday rush. It's this wild mix of huge sequels, little indie films, and brand new movies all duking it out.
So first, let's just get a feel for the battlefield. Who were the top 5 films that absolutely dominated the holiday weekend? This list right here, it really sets the stage for everything else we're about to unpack.
Okay, so as you can see, a familiar giant is leading the pack. No big surprise there. But the really interesting stories are playing out just below the surface. You've got this massive sci-fi sequel, a beloved animated movie, a smaller film that made a huge leap, a thriller, and a brand new monster movie. What a mix!
All right, let's zoom in on those heavy hitters at the top of the chart. This is where we see this really cool story of pure dominance on one hand and some surprising staying power on the other. Because winning the weekend is one thing, but holding on is a whole different ballgame.
I mean, just look at the raw power of Avatar: Fire and Ash. This is its second week, and it is the undisputed champion. Get this, it earned more than the next 2 films combined. That is just an incredible hold for a movie that's already been out for a week.
But here's the thing. A movie's success isn't just about one single weekend. It's really about its legs, its staying power. You can have a massive opening, sure, but if everyone sees it and then it just vanishes, the real winners are the films that keep people coming back, week after week.
And this right here illustrates a totally different narrative. Check out Wicked for Good. It's not even in this weekend's top 5, but after 6 weeks in theaters, it's the highest-grossing film of the entire holiday season. And Zootopia 2 is right on its heels. These are the real marathon runners, the long-term moneymakers. Okay, but for me, the biggest story this weekend isn't about those established titans. It's about this jaw-dropping surge from a total underdog. This is the kind of wild card that makes following the box office so much fun.
Just look at that number. A weekend-over-weekend increase of almost 2,000%. No, that's not a typo. Any idea which film managed to pull that off?
Yep, that incredible jump belongs to Marty Supreme. It rocketed from 9th place all the way up to 3rd, landing right behind 2 of the biggest blockbusters of the entire year. So the big question is, how on earth did this happen?
Well, here's the secret sauce. It was all about a perfectly executed expansion. The film went from this tiny, limited release in just 6 theaters to a massive nationwide launch in over 2,600. It's a classic Hollywood playbook move. You build up that critical buzz, get people talking in a few big cities, and then you go wide and cash in on all that hype.
So while all these existing films were fighting for position, 2 brand new movies tried to break into this super crowded holiday market. And let me tell you, that is a huge gamble when you're going up against this kind of competition. And you can see just how tough it is. 80% of the top 10 are returning movies, films that already have a built-in audience. Only 2 new releases, just 20%, managed to actually break through all that noise. So the strongest newcomer was Anaconda. It came in and secured a really solid spot right in the middle of the chart, debuting at number 5. A $14.5 million opening is nothing to sneeze at. It definitely found its audience. And the other new contender, Song Sung Blue, also managed to crack the top 10. It landed at number 8, finding its own audience and proving that even when the blockbusters are out in full force, there's still room for different kinds of stories. Okay, so we've looked at all these individual battles. What's the bigger picture here? When you put it all together, what does this weekend really tell us about the state of the movie industry?
So a few big lessons jump out. First, franchise power is as strong as ever. People love going back to worlds they already know, like Avatar and Zootopia. Second, a really clever release strategy can turn a small movie like Marty Supreme into a huge hit. And finally, the holiday season gives films a unique chance to have real staying power, though you can also see that some movies dropped off pretty fast.
And that kind of leaves us with one last question to think about. A big opening weekend is one thing, but making a real cultural impact is something else entirely. So which of these movies do you think has what it takes? Which one will we still be talking about a year from now? The box office can tell us part of the story, but only time will tell the rest.